Today we are looking at the latest release of the TUXEDO OS. The country of origin is from the Germany. The desktop environment you already seeing here is the KDE Plasma 6.2.4, and the ISO file was released like a day ago. So this is the latest ISO file. So here you can see the kernel version 6.11.0 and Qt version 6.8.1. And if you ask what it is based on, it's based on Ubuntu 24.04.1 LTS. So here you can see all the information like a graphics platform. I'm using the VLAN instead of X11. You can choose this option as soon as it's booted up. So here is complete information like a frameworks, KDE version and everything. So now I'm going to close this thing and let me open the system monitor. And as you can see, there is like a major lag while using this distribution. It's also consuming like a 3.3 GB and CPU is around like a pretty much unstable. So I'm just going to show you in the maximize screen. So here you can see the Qt version, KDE frameworks, KDE Plasma, the TUXEDO OS 4, and everything is right in front of you. It's consuming like a 3.3 GB. So the KDE Plasma 6.2 doesn't work properly on the virtual machines. I tried the VirtualBox and everything, but this is how it's performing. I don't know how it's going to perform when you install it on the bare metal. So when you go to the applications, here you can see all those consoles and everything. I opened all the important things in the background, so that's the reason it's consuming that much of resources. And here you can see some things happening. And about the history throughout the it's almost like 5-6 minutes. I opened the distro, I didn't install it, I booted the distro. And here you can see there is like a major lag and everything. It's not a smooth experience in the virtual machines. And about my hardware specs of the VMware, it's 60 GB of virtual disk, 8 GB of RAM, and my CPU is i5 1240p. And these are all the processes running right now. Everything is right in front of you. So sometimes it's going to perform like a bit smoother, but most of the time it's going to be has like a major lag and everything. So I just closed the system monitor. And here is like a NeoFetch and INX-SWAIT, so we can get all those information. And about the information, here you can see the OS. It says like a TUXEDO OS, host, the VirtualBox and everything. And the kernel 6.11 is the kernel version. So right now the latest version will be 6.12, which is the LTS version. I'm going to show you all those things in a few minutes. And uptime is almost 8 minutes. It's more than 8 minutes because I typed the NeoFetch like 3-4 minutes ago. And the packages is 2392 dbkg. Shell bash version you get the 5.2.21. My monitor resolution is 1920 x 1080. And also I'm going to show you the downloading process, so you don't need to worry about anything. Desktop environment, we are using the 6.2.4 and the VLAN instead of the X11. And here you can see the themes, icons, terminal, the CPU, GPU, every information. And also it shows like a 2.4 GB, but it's consuming like a 3.3 GB. So that's the reason I said I typed all those things like 3-4 minutes ago. And here when we go through detailedly, so the first is the system, and it says like a host as the TUXEDO OS because we are running it as a live boot, so that's the reason. But when you install it on your hard drive, it's going to be with your name or whatever the name you've given while creating the account. And the kernel 6.11, which I already mentioned. Compiler GCC, you get the 13.2.0. You don't get the 14 version, you get the 13.2. And what else we have? The KDE Plasma, we already saw the desktop environment. Frameworks, Qt version, we already saw the Qt version, but it shows like a not available right now. And the distro, it says like TUXEDO OS 24.04.1. And it's based on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS Noble Numbet. So the latest version of the Ubuntu 24.04 is right now the point update. There is also a point update right now. And I already made that video in my channel. So if you want to check it out, you can check it off. And what else we have? The RAM, I'm using 8 GB of RAM. Available is 7.7 and the used is, so it's consuming like a 2.4 GB here, but which I already said like a 2 times. It's like a 3-4 minutes ago. So for the exact RAM resources and the CPU and everything, you just need to open the system monitor, or else you can try to type in like a NeoFetch. Again, you should be getting the exact resources and all those things. So it's consuming 3.2 and CPU is pretty much, I already said it's pretty much unstable. And what else we have? My CPU, i5 1240p is my CPU. And here is like a speed flags and vulnerabilities, which is clearly unnecessary for the video. If anything is important, just pause the video and read everything. About the graphics, here is the graphics information. VMware GFX, you get the 2.20. And the display is a VLAN. XORG version is 1.21.1.11 with the XVLAN version 24.1.2. So EGL version you get the 1.5 and OpenGL version is 4.5. What else we have? The Mesa version you get the 24.2.7, which is the latest version, I guess. And what else we have? The Vulkan version you get the 1.3.275. And here is double VM version. And about the audio you get the ELSA here, and the Pipewire version you get the 1.2.7. And about the network, repos, drives, partitions, which is clearly unnecessary for the video, so I'm just going to skip all those things. Process running right now 315. Uptime, as already said, it's going to be almost like a 13-14 minutes. And what else we have? Shell bash version, which I already showed you the version, which is 5.2.21. INX version is 3.3.34. GCC version, which I already mentioned. Init systemd version you get the 255. So these are all the important information and the exact information you need to hear. So I showed everything, and as you can see, the user experience is very bad in the virtual machines. So it's completely in the virtual machine. I don't say it's going to be same when you install it on the real hardware. I don't know how it's going to perform. So this all the thoughts and everything, my point of view and everything will be mentioning in this video will be according to the virtual machines. So it will be completely different. Don't judge it by using on the virtual machines. It will be a bit better in the real hardware, or maybe worse. Sometimes we can't say anything until we try it on our own, and you get all the information. And about the official website, just open the browser. You get the Firefox web browser, and you need to type in like a about ;support to get all the information about the browser and also some distro information. The version you get the 133.0.3. I guess this is the latest version, and this should be the 0.3 update. And what else we have? The Linux kernel 6.11. Let me show you the 6.11 here. So this is the official website of the Linux kernel. So the 6.11 is almost end of life, so you need to use the 6.12.6, which is the LTS version right now. And there's also like a mainline or the release candidate version, which is 6.13 RC3. If it's going to release, then I'm going to provide all the information by making a YouTube shorts. I'll be posting YouTube shorts daily, so I already posted the shorts of like a Ubuntu versus Linux Mint. I gave all the information, and I kind of tried the Snoop Dogg voice over there, so you can get all this information. I didn't try it, I just used the AI tool, so you need to be getting all those information in my YouTube shorts, and also in the community page. Keep an eye on the community page in my channel. I'll be providing all the Linux information. You don't need to search on the internet for any specific releases or any Linux packages or anything. I'll be providing everything, and I'll be posting daily. So if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. And don't forget to turn on the notifications, so you should be getting all this information. Now let's get back to the video. So I already mentioned the 6.12 is the LTS version, which was said by Greg a few days ago. I already made that shorts of YouTube shorts. And here is how you need to get the kernel information, or else you can use the neofetch and all those things. So this is some information. So when we go back, here is the theme which you are using the Advaita on the both the sides. So if there is like a dark and light, it should be mentioned like a dark and light, but in this case it shows like an Advaita on the both the sides. And memory size, it's going to say it like available is 7.7, but I'm using 8 GB of RAM. Disk space available is 6.8. I already mentioned I'm using 60 GB of virtual disk, but in that you should be getting 6.8. So this is some browser information, which is like a picture-in-picture, and some feature information which is clearly unnecessary for the video. For anything like a specific information, you can just go to the Firefox browser, and you should be getting every information about the browser there. And here is the Mesa information, which I already showed you everything in the terminal itself. So it's just like a formality thing. So that's the reason I'm showing everything right here. So the VLAN, I'm using the VLAN I already mentioned, KDE Plasma Desktop environment, and here is the Mesa. So I wish the TUXEDO OS provided some other desktop environments instead of just the KDE Plasma. not everyone likes the KDE Plasma Desktop environment, so it will be consuming a bit more resources when compared to the XFCE or other desktop environment. I wish they tried any other desktop environment so that a lot of other like a low-end PC people can easily use those distribution. But in my point of view, it's going to consume a bit of more resources. So here is complete information like my monitor resolution and every like a mesa and everything. So we got all the information. If anything is important, you just need to pause the video and get all those information according on your own. So I'm just going to close all the unnecessary tabs. So this is the official website of the TUXEDO OS or the TUXEDO computers, which makes the TUXEDO OS. And if you don't know, or if you're new to the TUXEDO OS, here is all the information. You can get all the information from the official website itself. But here is all the information. But when you compare to the KDE Neon, if you ask me whether to use the KDE Neon or the TUXEDO computers, it's clearly up to you, because when we go to the applications, when we see the pre-installed applications, you pretty much get the KDE Neon applications or the KDE Plasma applications. Just a few applications added by like a TUXEDO OS. Other than that, you basically get the KDE Neon. So it's my point, it's my perspective. I don't know I'm going to recommend or not. It's clearly up to you, because when you compare to the KDE Neon, you pretty much get just like a 2 applications added. Other than that, a few wallpapers which has the TUXEDO OS watermark. So I don't know what to say here. It will be clearly up to you. So if you have like a recommended requirements like a 4 GB, if you have like a more than 4 GB or like a 6 GB, 8 GB like that, so I rather recommend go to other distributions. In my point of view, it's not like anything special or any fancy thing. You basically get the KDE Neon same to same, just like a TUXEDO computers applications like this one, which is right here, which is Control Center. Other than that, I don't see any. I'm talking about the normal user. I'm not talking about the professional user. If you're a normal user, you can just see the same KDE Neon applications or the KDE Plasma applications. Other than that, just 2 applications. I don't see any interesting thing in my point of view in this distribution. So these are all my thoughts. It's clearly up to you to what to decide whether to use this distribution or not. You pretty much get all the web, email and chat applications in pretty much every distribution. You can install whatever you want, and you can try a lot of other distributions. If you ask me, if you're a normal user, I rather recommend you to go with other distributions like Manjaro, Debian. It's not the stable versions, but you still get the lightweight desktop environments in my point of view, because I want to recommend whatever the Linux distros. Most of the developers who makes the Linux distros need to do some like a lightweight desktop environment, so the people who have like a low-end PC or old PC can also try these distributions. So that was my point here. So you get basically the KDE Plasma things. So I don't know whether to recommend it or not. So if you have a low-end PC, it's pretty much it doesn't work for you, because if you have like a 1 GB or 2 GB of RAM, it's going to be a bit of like a major lag, I guess. So in order to download, you can just click on the download here. So you need to have like a 4 GB of RAM in 2024. It's almost end of 2024. If it's 2025, then you need to use the almost like a 4 GB of RAM, 60-70 GB of hard disk, and like a what else, the dual core processor. And about the monitor, you can use the 1366 into 768 or like a 1920 into 1080. But if you have like an old PC, I rather recommend you to go with the lightweight Linux distros instead of this distribution. You don't get the LTS kernel, you don't get the latest things, you just get the Ubuntu 24, which is based on Ubuntu 24. But if you want to try the low end, if you have like a low end PC, it's better to go with the Lubuntu, because it's also the 24 version. It has also the 24 version. I think it's going to support like a 3 years. So you can go with the Lubuntu or Xubuntu or whatever low end lightweight Linux distros, which is based on Ubuntu 24. You can go with all those things. Instead of that, you can use all the Ubuntu flavors, like for example Lubuntu or the Xubuntu. The Xubuntu also consumes a bit more resources, so I'm not going to recommend that. But if you still want to go with the lightweight, there are a lot of distributions. You can use the Google search engine, Gemini, or the ChatGPT, or else you can just watch my videos. I made like a lot of videos of the lightweight Linux distros. So you can even search it on your own. It's clearly up to you. If you have like a low-end PC, no, never go with the Tuxedo OS because it's going to consume a lot of resources. So that's the point here. And in order to download the latest ISO, you can just click on the ISOs. So this is the latest ISO, but if you want the current ISOs, you can go with the current ISOs. As you can see, it has released on the same date, so I rather recommend go with the same thing. So it's pretty much same. I don't think there will be any changes, but here you should be going with the previews. So you don't have any preview here. Let's go with the parent directory. So here is the ISO files. You can go with that, or else you can go back and download it. You just need to click on the ISOs. It's 3.6 GB, so it's going to be downloading pretty much fastly if you have like a fast internet speed. So always check the ISO files what you are downloading. So check the ISO files. If it's matched, then it's a proper ISO file. So that was some of the information about the Tuxedo OS. And other than that, you already know how to install all those things. It's nothing complicated here. So let me show you some basic things here. So you get the language selection, which you usually see in the Linux distros or in the Calamares installer. Nothing is complicated. Click on next. You can install, choose the drive wherever you want to install, or choose the installation destination and install it. If you want to install dual boot, you can install. I'm always going to recommend that always keep the two operating systems in two different drives. Never keep two operating systems in the single drive, because if anything happens to one operating system, it's going to mess up the another operating system also. And also there is some issues running right now on the internet about the Windows 11 for the dual boot. So get all those information if you want to dual boot, and if you're satisfied, then go with the installation, or else it's better to keep the two different operating systems in two different drives. So just click on next, choose the bootloader location, and there is no like encryption or anything here. If you want to go with the manual partitioning, you can go with the manual partitioning. Click on next, create the username. Here you need to create username, account and everything, passwords and everything. So if you want the strong password, click on it. It's going to verify whether it's strong or not. And other than that, it's pretty much simple installation steps. There is nothing complicated. About the desktop and wallpapers, you basically get the watermark for Tuxedo OS on every added wallpaper from the Tuxedo OS. And others will be available of the KDE Plasma Desktop environment. So these are all the wallpapers from the KDE Plasma Desktop environment. And the bottom side, you should be seeing the Tuxedo OS wallpapers. And whatever the wallpaper you choose, let me show you. So there is like a watermark for the Tuxedo OS wallpapers. So this is a bit of annoying thing in my point of view. Some people thinks it's okay, but some people thinks it's like annoying. So it's clearly up to you. So this is the wallpaper I'm choosing. And about the control center, let me show you. Let me open the control center, and basically you get the same KDE Plasma settings and everything, or the desktop features. So I kept everything as a default. I didn't change any power options or anything. I kept everything as a default. I just installed the NeoFetch. So I didn't install NeoFetch or INXI. It came with the pre-installed, so I didn't touch anything here. And about the volumes, the brightness, everything is default. So this is the control center you get from the Tuxedo OS. Other than that, I don't see any new things or any difference from the KDE Neon. So here is the profile you can customize. So this is the good thing. Other than that, I don't see anything fancy or a new thing here. So this one is the good option, like a power save extreme, Tuxedo defaults. You can choose the default, cool and breeze. So this is a useful tool in my point of view. So here is like a Tuxedo Aquarius, the defaults, monitor, webcam and everything. So this is how it performed in my virtual machines. It was having a lot of issues, so you can decide whether to use it or not. And this is I think this is like a German language, so I'm just going to close everything. So here is the file manager. So nothing is changed here. Let me show you the about Dolphin. You get the 24.12.0. And what else we have? I think pretty much we covered everything. So when you click on the edit applications, here are all the edit applications or the KDE menu editor. And also you should be getting some other things. Let me configure application launcher. You can customize the icons and everything. Keyboard shortcuts, about. Let's check other things. Here is like a show alternative. So here are the widgets. And what else we have? The add or manage widgets. So it's going to open all those things. And there was some major issues or like a major lag. So here you can customize all those things. So I'm just going to remove all those things. And here is like a panel configuration. So these are all the customization things, and you can see a major lag. I hope everything is properly recording. My audio recording is properly without any issues, because sometimes in the virtual machines, if it had like a major lag, it's going to mess up my OBS audio recordings. So you need to understand these common things. It's not my error or anything like that. It's like a virtual machine's error. So if it has like a major lag, it's going to mess up the audio recordings in the OBS. So I don't know how to fix it. So most of the time I don't have any issues, but sometimes if we run like a KDE Plasma 6.2 version or the 6.1.4 version, it's going to mess up my audio recordings. I hope everything is properly recording. So these are all the options. Let me close the exit mode. And I think I'm going to end the video. These are all the changes from the latest version of the TUXEDO OS. Right now there is no release notes or anything. They never provide any release notes, but if I get any information around the internet, I'm going to provide it in the description. And I pretty much covered everything, like a kernel information, audio, graphics, everything. And for the live boot password, you need to use the TUX, same thing as the username, and the password will be unlocked. So here are the sessions. Here is the virtual keyboard, and you basically get the same login screen. And I think I'm going to end the video here. And if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe, turn on the notification, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. Peace out.